Hello, everybody. It's Fiona Lukis here for my Friday live Q&A, where I come on live every Friday and answer any questions that you may have about relationships and life. Now, this is my second last Friday live before Christmas. So I won't be here next Friday because I'm moving house. So there'll be no Friday live next week, which is Friday the 17th. My last Friday live before the end of the year, before Christmas, before anything, will be Friday the 24th. So Christmas Eve will be my last Friday live. So this is my second last. Next week I won't be here. All right. So you've got two lives before we finish the year out. So I really want to make sure that I can give you everything I've got with these last two lives before we move into 2022. So if you've just joined me live, hello, please feel free to say hi. I always love to know who's listening and who's around. I know we're at the pointy end of the year. Some of you have got Christmas parties and some of you are meeting deadlines and some of you are, maybe you're as crazy as I am, which is moving house at this time of year. I move house in 6 days and boy, there's a lot to do. I try not to think about it. But so I won't be here next Friday, but I'll be here Christmas Eve. Hey, Chris, thanks for saying hi. Nice to see you as always, Chris. So if you have joined me, feel free to say hi. Like I said, I love to know who's around and where you are listening from. And of course, if you have a question, please post it in the comments and I will do whatever I can to answer it for you and be of service. Hi, Fiona. Great name. What a great name. Whoever named you did a fantastic job. What a great name. Hi, Fiona. Nice of you to say hi. Hello, Kirsten. Thank you for saying hi. Hi, Robin. Thank you so much for saying hi as well. It's so lovely. Hello. You're in Scotland, of course, with a name like Fiona McDonald. That sounds like a very Scottish name. Would I be right in saying that? Fiona McDonald? That sounds like a very, very, very Scottish name. Would you believe all of my children have Scottish names? It wasn't something that I planned, but it's just the way it's ended up. I do have an affiliate, a thing with Scotland. My surname is very Scottish. Well, my maiden name is Fletcher, which means arrow maker. And it's very Scottish. So I do have some strong Scottish roots in there, and never been to Scotland, but would certainly love to go. I've got clients in Scotland, and so sometimes they show me where they are, the area of where they are. They'll turn the Zoom camera around and show me. Absolutely beautiful. What an amazing, gorgeous country Scotland is. So thanks for saying hello, Fiona. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for saying hi. If you've just joined us, feel free to jump on in and say hello. So whilst I've got some other people jumping on, I just, if you have a question, please don't be shy. This is your opportunity to ask. I will answer any and every question that I can to the very best of my ability. For those of you who don't know me, I have been working in private practice for around 13 years, and I've been specializing in this niche, in the relationship niche, for the entire time. I've worked with families, couples, friends, siblings, work teams, any and every kind of relationship you can imagine is wow. As I'm reading Fiona Fletcher, wow, best friends of Fletcher. Oh, really? Oh, there you go. So I've been working in this niche for a very long time, and any and every relationship you can imagine is what I've dealt with. Now, the great thing about it is, and the great thing about what I have discovered and the understanding that I teach is, it doesn't matter what relationship you are talking about, the solution or the direction that you look for the answer is exactly the same. So that is what I love about the understanding that I get to teach and share, is that it doesn't matter what relationship you're bringing to the table, a parenting relationship, your relationship with you, like that's a biggie, right? Whether it's your relationship with siblings. I've helped siblings who were about to never speak to each other again. If it's a boss or a team at work, all of this, what I teach helps with that, okay? Because you're looking in a direction where what you learn and discover, you can take into any and every relationship in your life. So that is the beautiful thing that I love about what I teach. So whatever relationship you are kind of dealing with at the moment, or you would like to have enhanced or change or a deeper connection with, what I teach will help you with that. So don't be shy. If it's a relationship with a sibling, if it's a relationship with a child, if it's something that you want to talk about around you, this is what this time is for. Okay. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for saying hi. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for saying hi and jumping on board. I always appreciate people reaching out and saying hello to me. So, whilst if you've got a question, feel free to send it through. I've had a couple of people email me questions. So, like I always do, I'm going to go back to that email for 1 second. But if there's something you want to post or share or message me about, do so down with the comments down below while I bring up the question that I've got for today, or one of. Okay, let me find that. There we go. All right. Okay, so I've had a lady send me a question, and her question is, "Hi Fiona, why do you have different expectations for people you have a love life, who you're intimate with, than for other people?" Um, and I can't get this sentence out of my head because it hit me so hard in my heart. And I saw that I do exactly this. I really don't expect the same from everyone else that I do with a partner. Why is this? Why does this happen? Can you speak a little bit about that on your Friday Live this week? So I will address that now because it's very, very, very common. As I say to people, there is nothing like your intimate relationship to bring out our frailties. Nothing quite like it. Hey, Franca. Hi. Thanks for saying hi. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you so much. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So, as I say to people, one of the reasons why I love working in this space so much, there is nothing like our relationships to bring out our frailties. Nothing like it. And so, because of that, there is nothing like our relationships to give us an opportunity to grow. Nothing like our relationships gives us the opportunity to evolve more in life. Literally, no area of our life gives us the opportunity to evolve the way our relationships do. They really do. Here's some of the opportunities that a relationship gives you. It gives you the opportunity to get over yourself. This is something people struggle with so very, very, very much. Very, very, very much. People don't know how to get over themselves. And so this is something that we all need to learn and evolve and grow around big time, all of us. And is something we all struggle with. And is your relationships absolutely give you that opportunity again and again and again and again. Whether it's, getting over yourself with your partner, nothing like teenagers to help you get over yourself. Can I just say, I'm in the middle of raising my 4th teenager, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, does she give me the chance to get over myself multiple times a day. So they give you the opportunity to get over yourself. Relationships teach you humility. They teach you humility, and we need a lot more humility in the world, can I just say? We really do. Humility is what lifts the level of consciousness of the entire planet, and we need a lot more of it. We really do. There's an awful lot of arrogance to be found on the planet, and what we need is a lot more humility. So relationships teach you humility, because they teach you that there is not one way of looking at something. There are endless ways of viewing something. There is not one reality. There is not the reality. There is just unlimited ways of viewing something. And if that's not something that gets people stuck, where they think their reality is the reality, they think their reality is the best reality, they make other people wrong because other people don't see their reality or agree with it. And when we do that, we become incredibly arrogant. Because, as I say to everybody, little humans that we are, funny little humans that we are, your reality is not the reality. Your reality is not the only reality. Your reality is one of billions. And we need to have the humility to see that. Okay, because that's what enables us to get off our high horse. That's what enables us to come with more compassion and understanding. It's what enables us to let go, to forgive, to transcend, all of those delicious, wonderful things that people actually really want, even if they're not sure how to get there. Okay. So it's nothing like our relationships that teach us that. Now, I'm going to come back to the question I was just asked, because, we definitely see this in our relationships, and then our intimate relationship is a whole other level. Okay. It really is. It's a whole other level because, yes, we do. We have very different expectations around our intimate partners than we do around our children, around family, around friends. We absolutely do. And expectations, and it's actually one of the bonus programs I teach with Relatable, I offer with Relatable. I call them why expectations are the secret killers of relationships in life. They are. We do have very much have different expectations around our intimate partners. Now, the reason why we do that is because we are a lot more married to our thinking with our intimate partner than we are with anybody else. We are a lot more married to it. Now, the more married you are to your thinking, the more you get stuck, you cycle around in your head speeds up, and you make things very complicated. I was actually talking about this with a client yesterday and today, because it's come up a couple of times in my client sessions. You know, one of the things that we've got to understand is that the speed with which your head goes is in direct correlation with with the simplicity with which you view life. I'm going to say that again. The speed with which your head moves is in direct correlation with the level of simplicity with which you see life. Hi, Diane. Thank you for saying hi. Hi, where are you in the world? I'd be curious to know. Thanks so much for saying hi. I really appreciate it. So when we are married to our thinking, when we're caught up in expectations, and expectations are an illusion, but that's a whole other conversation. When we're caught up in our thinking, when we're married to our expectations, thanks, Brian. You are hilarious. Hey, everyone, your hair looks great, Fiona. I love that. Thanks, Brian. And you're a male saying that. That's very impressive, right? Something normally a guy wouldn't even notice. Thanks very much. Oh, you're in Kalgoorlie. Oh, okay. Wow. Western Australia. Okay. Well, welcome, Diane. Thanks for dropping in, and thanks for saying my hair looks great. If anyone else wants to compliment me on my hair, feel free. But anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. That was so random, Brian. Gorgeous. You're so gorgeous. So when your head is going very fast, okay, we see things way more complicated than when our head is slow, and we see things far more simply. Now, whenever you see things through the lens of simplicity, life is infinitely easier. Okay, when you see things through the lens of complexity and complicated, everything gets much harder. Everything. Now, what we tend to do in our intimate relationships is have our head speeds up. We then overcomplicate things. We overthink things, and we get incredibly stuck. Thanks. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I appreciate that comment about my hair. Thank you very much. I have very thin hair, and it's not my best feature. So, you know, this is about as good as it gets. So thank you. I do appreciate it. Thanks, Brian. You got the confidence. You got the moves. You're hilarious. Thank you, Barbara. That's very kind of you. So when your head speeds up, and I will say one of the biggest reasons why relationships fail is because most people have a chronic overthinking addiction and they don't know it. Okay, they don't. We have such a high tolerance for overthinking. We have such a high tolerance for our heads going fast. We just see that as normal and the way things are. And I can assure you they're not. You know, one of the great things that starts happening when I teach people the understanding that I do, when people start working with me doing my programs or with my private client work, is their head starts to slow down. And just that alone changes everything. They stop overthinking. They stop ruminating. Their tolerance for their head going really fast slows down. And the minute you do that, you see things in a far more simpler way. Now, the minute you look in the direction of simplicity, life becomes infinitely easier in every single area of your life. You then have more bandwidth. And bandwidth, I'm telling you, a lack of bandwidth is a huge reason why relationships break down. Because when people have got no bandwidth, they have no tolerance. When they have no tolerance, they have no patience. When they have no patience, they become very caustic, judgmental, and their expectations increase. So when you're feeling frustrated and impatient, you have higher expectations of people and life because it looks like they need to be a certain way for you to be okay. You become even more married to that illusion. And I call it an illusion. It's the illusion of outside in. It's the outside in illusion of life, that I need you to be a certain way for me to be okay. That is the biggest illusion there is on the planet, and it is a huge issue in relationships. Because when we look at life that way, we become very controlling. And there's two ways that we become controlling. We get angry and positional, and we kind of project that out, or we shut down and we withdraw love. That's just as controlling as someone being angry and positional. Okay, so we become very controlling. Now, as you all know, because every single person here has been in a relationship, we don't like that, do we? Humans don't like to be controlled. People don't like to be controlled. People don't like to have people project or withdraw. People get very, very, very stuck and upset and frustrated by that, and then they shut down, and then they start thinking about the me, and there's no we, and there's no shared experience. Goodwill falls through the floor, and all of a sudden people are arguing over who put the toilet roll on the toilet roll holder the wrong way, and then they get frustrated because they're arguing over minutia. Like, why are we arguing over this stuff? Why? Because you've taught each other that I can't rely on you and I can't rely on you. Okay. And so when we do that, goodwill drops through the floor and we fault find. Okay. When people don't feel good, they fault find and they nitpick. And it looks justified because they're looking out here. Okay. The minute you start looking out here, you will feel justified in nitpicking, in being self-righteous, in trying to control things, in making someone wrong, and you will get way caught up and stuck down in that rabbit hole. Okay. And people can get lost in that rabbit hole for years. And even if they leave a relationship, they will take that habitual thinking with them into the next. Okay. Because the thing you got to understand is it doesn't matter what relationship you're dealing with, you've got to learn how to deal with your own frailties and somebody else's. Because you could sit there and say, I hate the way my partner does this, and that's fine. But guess what? You can leave that relationship and go into the next one, and you're still going to deal with that person's frailties because everybody has them. It's just an essential part of being human. It's not a mental health condition. It's just an essential part of being a human being. So people have frailties. Okay. And when we are in an emotionally unintelligent place, and everybody goes in and out of levels of emotional intelligence, again, this has nothing to do with a mental health condition. It is just the way people are designed. It's the way human beings are. As I say to all of my clients and the people in my Relatable program, you cannot outwit your humanness. Okay, you can't escape it. There are essential things that are the nature of being human that you've got to learn to adjust to and live with and deal with. But people are constantly escaping themselves, right? So they don't have to experience their humanness. This is what people do all the time, and it destroys relationships. Okay, people work themselves to death because they don't want to feel how they're feeling. People will drink because they don't want to feel how they're feeling. People will put themselves in front of a TV because they don't want to feel how they're feeling. People will exercise because they don't want to feel how they're feeling. And when I mean exercise, I mean over-exercise. People will do things to extremes because they want to distract themselves from how they're feeling. Anger is a great one to distract yourself from how you're feeling. There are a lot of people out there running away from themselves. Okay, and then they're wondering why their relationships are falling apart. Because when you're so busy running away from yourself, you've got no bandwidth for the we. All you're thinking about is the me. Okay. And you can't see how you're showing up. You can't see the energy that you're operating from. You can't see the ripples effects of you. And a lot of the reasons why we can't, and it's nobody's fault, it's all pretty innocent, right? But the reason why we can't is because we're so focused out here. Right? We're so focused out here. And then you add to that a chronic overthinking addiction, which so many people have. Their heads are going so fast. And when your head goes so fast, you feel pretty empty. You do. You feel very empty. Now, people who feel empty nitpick. People who feel empty put other people down. People who feel empty want to control everything, because they get moments of satisfaction from that, moments of satisfaction. But hey, a moment of satisfaction pales, right, into insignificance compared to moments of fulfillment and joy and well-being, which is what is available to you. The amount of people who accept, what would I call that? Who accept the bare minimum of how they can feel and what they can experience astounds me. And again, it is not your fault or anyone's fault. It's just people do not know what else is on offer. And I mean in terms of how they can feel and what they can experience. Okay, Diane, how do you deal with a partner who will continually put you down, being just plain nasty? Well, for me, Diane, my answer to that is, and I get asked this question a lot, is I'm always with people like that. Number one, generally in a situation like that where people are operating like that, I'm going to say number one, there's no goodwill in that relationship, none. Because when goodwill is high, people don't do that. So I'd be asking myself, how come there's no goodwill here? And I would be, and again, I'm not blaming, don't hear this as blaming, but I'd be looking inside myself in a moment and going, how am I showing up? Is this person a mirror of me? That's the first thing I'd be asking myself, first of all, because quite often situations in life are a mirror of you. Don't hear this as fault. Don't hear this as anything. People tend to think I'm blaming. I'm not. But all I'm saying is life is continuously giving you feedback. So you want to be able to dispassionately, so hear me say the word dispassionately, and dispassionately means be able to look at it without blame, judgment of yourself and somebody else. Okay, just look at something objectively, and kind of ask yourself, how am I showing up? Am I critical? Am I coming from a place of lack and fear in myself? And is that perhaps contributing to this? Perhaps. But again, don't hear this as blame. I'm not blaming anybody. And I'm not saying anybody, it's okay for anybody to be nasty and put you down. But I see this a lot. And generally, when people are in that frame of mind, it's because the tank is empty, and it has been for a very long time, and people don't feel good, and they're beside themselves, and they have been for a long time. And so they don't know any other way to handle it. So they just become projectionary and nasty. Okay. So that'd be the first thing that I'd be checking on. Now, next, I would get very curious. Very curious. Now, here's the thing. You can't be curious if you don't know how to get over yourself. Okay? Because curiosity comes from a place of neutrality. So you've got to understand the power of neutrality, and you absolutely have to know when you are in a place of neutrality. And there's a very easy way to find that out. I teach this in my Relatable program. It's a big thing that I teach my clients, because you need to know how you are showing up, because you've got to be able to factor that in. Because everything we do creates energy. We are energy, and absolutely the energy that we show up with has an impact on everything and everyone around us. This is basic quantum physics. Okay, this has been proved by scientists. Okay, that even an innate object like a camera looking at something will change the thing that it's looking at, because even an innate object has energy. Okay, so if an innate object has energy, what do you think we have, right? And it is absolutely our energy that impacts things way more than anything we have to say. Too much has been focused on the words and what's being said, as opposed to the energy that we bring. Okay, this is far, far more powerful and more important to understand. So these are things that you need to have an understanding of. Now, when I'm in a place of neutrality and I am genuinely curious, I can hold space with someone who's nasty and keep holding loving space until they run out of nasty, and then I can see what's on the other side of that. But generally, what happens when someone's being nasty, okay, the other person gets upset, and I understand why. I get it. The other person gets upset and shuts down, and then nothing gets said. The other person walks away. They don't feel great. They know they've been nasty. You walk away going, I don't understand how we got to this place. Goodwill goes down even more. People withdraw even more. People think about the me even more, and things just spiral. One of the things that people realize and learn with the work that we do is that they understand how they find the strength, courage, awareness to be able to come from a place of curiosity and hold space with someone until they get to the other side of nasty. Because you've got to know there's something on the other side of that. Now, I don't know what it is, but people who lovingly hold space for another human being actually are able to do that. Okay. And they do it because they have nothing on the other person's reaction. They're not taking it personally. They understand exactly what's going on. And so it gives them the courage and the confidence and the ability emotionally, spiritually, and from all of those spaces to be able to genuinely hold space for someone until someone runs out of nasty. And then let's see what's on the other side of that. Now, the only way you can do that is to bring love to the table. Love is the most powerful force on the planet and is far, far more powerful than nasty. Now, it's hard to do that, though, when you're taking things personally and you feel like you're being attacked. The great thing with this understanding, especially when you understand what's going on for people, is you stop taking it personally, you stop seeing it as an attack, and you're able to bring compassion, understanding, and curiosity to the table. Now, I just want to say something as I'm saying this, because one of the objections that comes up with people all the time is, why should I put up with bad behavior? Why should I be the one doing all the work? Why should it be up to me? So you're just saying that when someone's being really nasty, that I just be nice about it and never say anything. And I just want to be really clear. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. You can make what I'm saying mean that if you wish, but I want to be really clear that I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when you have the clarity around what's going on and you have this understanding, you can show up to someone from a place of love and strength. Love is the strongest place to show up from on the planet. People see it as the weakest. No, it's not. Insecurities, nastiness, upset, and judgment is the weakest. Anyone can do that. That's easy. Okay? That's super easy. You bring love, and you bring a contrast frame, you actually help people remember their own essence, and you give people an opportunity to have fresh thinking. Fresh thinking is your greatest asset for you and the other person. Okay, so that is my answer to that, Diane. I hope that helps. Fiona, this was me. I felt failed in mine. Now embodiment on my own truth, body, and mind. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm guessing you mean, Fiona, that you feel more embodied with your own truth, body, and mind. And if that's how you feel, awesome. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Good for you. It's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling. It's how you get to show up to life from a place of sovereignty. Okay. And a person who shows up to life from a place of sovereignty does super well at life and relationships. Okay, they are able to speak their truth. They are able to lovingly hold boundaries. They are able to do things that work for them without fear of other people's opinions, without taking on board other people's stuff. That is what guilt is. It's you taking on board someone else's stuff that doesn't belong to you. They're able to move through life with a sense of ease and flow and effortlessness because they are totally okay and solid in who they are. It's a very, very beautiful, and the word I use is delicious place to live your life from. Now, people who do that do super well at relationships, like knock it out of the park, because you don't have anything to prove, justify, or defend. Most people in relationship are coming from one of those three places. They're defending themselves, they're justifying themselves, or they feel like they have to prove themselves. Now, when you do that, you will take things far more personally than someone who does not. When you do that, you will operate from a completely different energy, a much heavier energy than someone who does not. When you do that, you will find it much harder to get over yourself, and you will feel like you are a victim a lot of the time. You will feel like your reality is fixed, which it is not. That is another massive illusion, that your reality is fixed, that life is fixed. Oh, this is the way things are. Nothing is the way it is. Nothing. Okay? Your reality is not fixed. You create it. You experience it. You are the creator. Always. 100% of the time. This is a very hard thing for people to see. Okay? Because it looks like it's been created for you, doesn't it? Your reality looks like it's been created for you. That is absolutely not true. In any way, shape, or form. One of the greatest things I ever learned was that. And I see this so deeply in my life. I'm the creator. I get to create whatever I want. It's the most freeing thing on the planet. Does it mean that life always works out the way I want? No. I've had plenty of very ordinary things, and I could say horrible things happen in my life, as has everybody. Okay. I know I'm certainly not alone in that experience. But knowing that I'm the creator, that I get to create what I want, wow, that's a beautiful place to live your life from. And I'm immensely grateful for it. And it has done wonders for my relationships, my relationship with me, my husband, my children, family, friends, clients, you name it. Hence why I say coming across this has been the greatest gift in my life. And it's just a gift that just keeps on giving. Brian, the most amazing way to live, certainly the best way to turn up, and the way this helps other people is beyond beautiful. And everything you desire in life is possible. Relatable changed my life and is something I knew was possible but could never find a way to touch. Oh, Brian. Bless you, Brian. It's just a beautiful thing to say. Really, I'm so glad to hear that. I really am. Brian is talking about my online program, Relatable. He's been a part of the Relatable community for a while now, Brian, haven't you? 7 to 8 months, maybe 9 months. And the changes I've seen in Brian have been unbelievable. And Brian is always out there helping people in the community, helping people in the private Facebook group, answering questions. Just a delight, Brian. You really are such a generous, beautiful soul. It's lovely. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you thriving the way you are, Brian. It really, really is. So, couple of things that I want to come back and touch on. Oh, hello, Graham. There's another beautiful soul from my Relatable community. Hello there. Welcome aboard. Now, another thing that I want to touch on here, and this is very important. You know, you would have, if you've listened to my Facebook Lives before, you may have heard me say that, you know, when it comes to our relationships, it's very important to know how to build a relationship from the ground up, not from the top down, from the ground up. So from the bottom up. That's how you build a relationship. Now, I just want to point out the differences between those two things. So building a relationship from the bottom up is about understanding how you create your reality, understanding how we work as human beings, and we all work the same way. Very, very, very important. It's about understanding the nature of thought and how we think. Because people don't understand this, people get way caught up in the content of their thinking rather than understanding the nature of it. Okay, massive difference, massive, massive, massive difference. The content of your thinking is very irrelevant. Honestly, guys, we spend way too much time worrying about what we think when we should understand the nature of how thought itself works. Very, 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 very important and life-changing when you see it. Okay, building something from the ground up is understanding that simplicity is the answer to everything all of the time, and to know when you are complicating things and when you are looking at things through the lens of simplicity. Very, very important. Most people look at their relationships through the lens of complexity and get unbelievably stuck. Go down rabbit holes and get lost down there for days, weeks, months, years, decades. I see it all the time. Now, a lot of people have a very high tolerance for overthinking. You have got to understand the quality of feeling that's available to you. When you're going really fast, the quality of feeling that is available to you is very, very low. It's poor quality. It really is. It feels empty and hollow and heavy. Now, when your mind slows down, the quality of feeling available to you is, there's no comparison. None. Just that alone, people don't have a distinction around, and they don't know the difference between the two things. Once you start to know the difference of that feeling, you want more of it. More of it. Now, when you want more of that, you go to do some of the dysfunctional stuff you've been doing before, and you realize, yeah, no, because I got to live in the feeling of that. No, thanks. I don't want that. That's not how I want to show up. That's not what I want to create. That's not how I want to feel. That's not how I want to live. And it becomes super easy to choose something else. Okay? These are all building relationships from the bottom up. Have you noticed that I have not talked about men and women? Have you noticed that I've not talked about masculine and feminine energy? Have you noticed I've not talked about communication styles, personality types, or even love languages? Have you noticed I haven't talked about any of that stuff? Those things that I just mentioned, communication style, personality types, men and women, masculine, feminine energy, this is all building something from the top down. Interesting pieces of information, but not what creates sustainable long-term change. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to guess that you're here listening because you're looking for sustainable long-term change. Okay, sorry, that's my VA messaging me. Let me just pause notifications. My apologies. Okay. All right. So understanding how to build relationships from the bottom up, okay, is about looking at our humanness, looking at our shared humanness, looking at our sameness, understanding the way we all work, regardless of age, gender, sex, religion, culture, wealth, education. This is something that transcends all of that. It's got nothing to do with any of it. It's got nothing to do with personality types. It's so important. I believe if more people understood how to build something from the bottom up, we would have the divorce rate would not be where it is. What is it now? I think it's depending on the country that you're in. I think the last time I looked at, say, this in the States, it was around 1 in 4. And I think in Australia, it's hovering around that mark. If it's second relationships, it's 1 in 2, 1 in 3, would you believe, that fail? Unbelievably high. You would not have so many families dreading Christmas, because I know there are a lot of people are, because they've got to spend time with people they don't really want to spend time with, or they've got to spend time with people they don't feel safe around, or they've got to spend time with people that they've got to walk on eggshells and watch every word that comes out of their mouth, which is utterly exhausting. Okay. You would have far less of that in the world. And so you would have far more people with a sense of peace of mind, well-being, emotional freedom, clarity, a sense of sovereignty without drowning in guilt and all those other emotions that take you nowhere and keep you stuck and stop you evolving, right? So it is so important. And if you want to get to know you, and this is so important, the amount of people that come my way who don't have a sense of self. If you don't have a sense of self, so you don't know you, this is where you become someone that bases your every decision, every feeling, everything on what someone else thinks and does. So you're completely outsourcing your own well-being and you're giving your power away to everything and everyone. Okay. And it's utterly exhausting. So building something from the ground up, all of a sudden, you get a very strong sense of self. Now, this is important. Okay. You have to know who you are. You really do. You have to know who you are. You have to honor who you are. Because when you do that, you show up without all the baggage, without the need to justify, explain, prove, defend, which is how so many of us are in life. Now, when you don't have any of that going on, you can show up to someone who's behaving not very well. You can show up to someone who's perhaps being nasty. You can show up to someone who's not bringing their best to the table and hold space for them until they find their way back home, till they find their way back to a better place within themselves where they feel good. People who are nasty don't feel good. Okay. That's someone suffering. That's someone who's a long way from home. That's someone who's lost their sense of self, because people who have a strong sense of self don't do that. They just don't. So, in many, many ways, this is a journey of discovering you, understanding who you are, knowing the energy that you're bringing, knowing how you're showing up, taking ownership over that, honoring yourself, letting go of the need to defend, prove, and justify. Understanding when your head's going way too fast and it needs to slow down. Knowing what it feels like to be in a deeply connected feeling and realizing I want more of that. This is all about building relationships from the ground up. Now, you know how to do that. You will knock your relationships out of the park. And along the way, feel absolutely amazing. Amazing. That's what's on offer. Regardless of whether you have a job that you hate, regardless of where you live, regardless of all of those things. Now, in my mind, that is true freedom. In my mind, that is true emotional freedom. In my mind, That is where peace of mind comes from, and it cannot come from anywhere else. These are the things I teach that I believe are what make the difference in relationships. And it has nothing to do with whether you're a male or female, or your personality type, or your communication style. It's much, much, much bigger than that. This is how you get to live your life without the limits that we put on ourselves and each other. Hey, Brian, I'm having Christmas lunch with my ex and the kids because they cook a ripper roast. That is awesome, Brian. That is absolutely awesome. Now, I know Brian's story, and there is no way that would have happened earlier on, Brian. No way that you would have been having lunch like that with your ex and the kids. That's amazing, Brian. Good for you. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. That just makes my heart sing. Thank you, Brian. Beautiful to hear. Wonderful. How wonderful. How wonderful for your children. How wonderful for you all. Beautiful. Okay, everybody, I know I've been speaking for around 40 minutes, which is a long time. So I'm just going to check in. Is what I'm saying making sense? Is this helpful to you? Oh, Fiona, you spent 3 weeks in Australia after a breakup. Came back and went back to comfort. Wow. Well, there you go. Lovely. Good for you. Great country, isn't it? Well, yeah. No, I won't go there. I was going to say something about the pandemic, but I won't. Let's keep this conversation pandemic free. That is wonderful, Fiona. Good for you. I know I must get to Scotland one of these days. I'd love to explore your beautiful, beautiful country. Okay, everybody. Well, if nobody else has any comments or questions, thank you so much for being here. Just as a reminder, I will not be here next Friday. I am moving house. I know who's crazy enough to move house on the 17th of December. I am. I'm moving house, but I will be here on Friday, the 24th, which is Christmas Eve. Okay, I will be here then. So thanks, Barbara. I'm glad you found it helpful. Thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. And any questions or comments, post them below. Thanks, Sandy. Much appreciated, honey. And I'll put the link for Relatable and my ebook there because people always ask me about it. And no, it's not too late. And it doesn't matter if it's a busy time of year. Relatable is one of those things that takes all the busyness out of your head, has you feel calmer, clearer, lighter, and it does so very, very, very quickly and is unbelievably helpful with any and every relationship in your life. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Hey, Katie, thanks for saying hi. That's so lovely. Thank you. I'll do your live. Okay, good. You go for it, Brian. You can do my live. Why not? That'd be pretty funny. Hey, that would actually, that's not a bad idea. You want to jump on here and do my Facebook Live on my page for me next week, Brian? Why not? Hey, I'd be up for that. All right, everyone, take care, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.